Coming up next on NewsDepth, tariffs could affect groceries and back-to-school supplies. We talk about staying healthy the entire school year. We meet artists using the biggest canvas ever, the sky. And we hear about the origin story of Superman. NewsDepth starts now. Welcome to the new school year and the new season of NewsDepth. It is so great to be back. I'm your host, Gabriel Kramer. I had a great summer, and I hope you did too. But this year, we have lots of new friends to meet and a lot to learn together, so let's get started. The high cost of grocery prices is straining many people, and the recent round of tariffs may drive food prices up even further. President Donald Trump enacted a new wave of tariffs last month. A tariff is a tax that must be paid for imports and exports. Many experts worry this could drive up prices. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan looks at what will cost more at the grocery store.
The high cost of groceries is straining many people's wallets. A recent poll shows 53% of Americans say grocery costs were, quote, a major stress. Overall, food costs continue to rise.
Since 2020, food prices are up about 25%.
Phil Lempert, known as the supermarket guru, says the rise in prices is not only causing consumers to pay more, but also impacting grocers and manufacturers.
We're seeing some manufacturers play that shrinkflation game where, they're taking smaller size packages, putting less ingredients in them, but charging the same thing or even more.
President Donald Trump's latest round of tariffs could drive up prices further. Some imports coming from Brazil will now face a 50% tariff. Lempert says that means higher prices for coffee, sugarcane, and meats. Aluminum goods from Canada are subject to a 35% tariff, which could mean higher costs for certain soda and canned goods.
Thank you, Jen. Parents across the country are preparing to send their kids back to school, and that means shopping for school supplies. But some worry that tariffs will impact their back-to-school budget. Jamise Price has more from Raleigh, North Carolina.
More Minecraft pencils.
Kristen Silberman is shopping for her two boys, a 5th and a 6th grader.
We kind of start early, and it makes it a little easier to budget.
She's also picking up a few items for her classroom. She's a teacher.
I am looking for basic school supplies, paper, pencils, scissors, glue, storage.
Kristen said she's already noticed some prices are up.
I try to set a budget for my classroom, and I also ask for donations from friends and with my wish lists, and so that's been helpful.
According to the National Retail Federation, about 67% of back-to-school shoppers have already started to make purchases. Experts say some shoppers are being mindful of spending based on the economy and potential impacts of tariffs. Other parents we met also notice higher prices but are waiting to shop this season.
Oh, well, their school sends out the list, and I'm yet to do it, but next week is my week to shop. So just go through the list, see what they have left from the last year. Obviously, they have some supplies, and the rest.
Thank you, Jamise. As we dive into the school year, it's important to remember that the things we do to take care of our bodies outside of the classroom can affect how well we do in it. Believe it or not, one of the biggest secrets to success at school starts the night before, with some sleep. Getting enough rest is just as important as eating right and staying active. So if your summer sleep schedule was all over the place, don't worry, you are not alone. We've got some tips to help you reset your routine and get your brain ready to learn, grow, and thrive. Natalia Garcia speaks with a pediatrician who knows exactly how to help you get back on track.
In the classroom, the recipe for success starts before you even get to school. One of the main ingredients is sleep.
It's just as important as exercise and nutrition when it comes to children's ability to learn and grow.
Dr. Caroline Weingard with Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus says if your sleep routine was derailed during summer, you are not alone. But you can reset your routine gradually by walking back your bedtime.
Moving the bedtime up 15 minutes every night for 1 to 2 weeks until they're going to bed at the time that they'll be going to bed during the school year is one way to get them back on a normal sleep schedule.
Dr. Weingard says to make sure all phones and devices are put away, ideally at least an hour before bed, in order to get your brain into sleep mode. She says to also focus on what time you wake up every day. While it's okay to sleep in a little on the weekends, keep your wake-up time within 1 hour of when you get up for school.
So if they normally get up at 6:30 during the school week, get them up by about 7:30 on the weekend if possible, just to make it a little bit easier come Sunday night when it's time for them to go to bed.
Thank you for the report, Natalia. Setting yourself up for success can start before you even walk through the school doors. If you want to feel more focused, energized, and ready to learn, it all starts with what's on your plate. A registered dietitian is here to show you how to fuel your brain and body with tasty, healthy meals, from breakfast to lunchbox ideas that are actually easy to make and actually delicious too. Think breakfast burritos, DIY Lunchables, and even egg muffins you can grab on the go. Chris Dudley shows us how to build meals that help you stay sharp, strong, and ready to take on the day.
In the classroom, you want to do your best. To set yourself up for success every day, start with a healthy breakfast.
We want our kids to be able to focus, and to be able to focus, we want to make sure that their bellies have something in them.
Catherine Sherry with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says healthy meals should have protein, healthy fats, fiber, and some carbohydrates. For breakfast, Sherry likes to upgrade their whole wheat toast by adding nut or seed butter and some sliced fruit like bananas or strawberries. You can also make my favorite, a breakfast burrito. Add some egg and veggies, maybe some avocado, and a side of salsa. Or make egg muffins filled with veggies and maybe your favorite meat, and pair with fruit and a slice of whole wheat toast.
You can make multiples of these ahead of time. We can put them in a freezer bag, and then we just grab one out each morning, pop it in the microwave.
You can spice up lunch boxes too. Sherry says making your own Lunchable can make it more nutritious. Roll up some low-sodium lunch meat and cheese, add whole wheat crackers and your favorite nut butter, plus a veggie and some sliced fruit. Or pack some leftover pasta for lunch. Pair it with some sliced veggies and hummus to dip, along with a fruit. Chicken salad is also a healthy lunch alternative. Pair with sliced apple and some veggies, and try some whole wheat crackers. Finally, make sure you stay hydrated throughout the day.
Leave those sugary beverages at home. Let's just go ahead and do water for hydration.
Whew. Is it lunchtime yet? Those lunches looked pretty tasty, if you ask me. Thank you, Chris. For our poll this week, we want to know, how do you stay healthy during the school year? This is a multiple choice poll, so you can select as many of these healthy habits that apply to you. Do you prioritize sleep every day? Do you make sure you eat nutritious meals? Do you like being active and moving your body? Do you focus on your mental health to manage your stress? Or do you do regular health checkups with your doctor to make sure you're in tip-top shape? And come back next week so you can see how you and your classmates manage to stay sharp all year. On our last episode last season, we asked you about your summer plans. Let's catch up on what we all did by looking at the poll results. 75% of you said you hung out with your family and friends all summer. That is my favorite thing to do in the summer. 69% of you said that you were just glad to get a break from school, but I bet you're feeling refreshed and ready for this school year. About 66% of you said you went on vacation. Our producer Natalia went on vacation with her little sister this summer, and they got to visit a lot of little towns. In fourth place, we have catching up with your hobbies. 47% of you said you spent your summer break doing what you love. And about 40% of you voted for staycation. I hope we all got some nice downtime this summer. Thank you all for voting. This summer, I got to do a little bit of everything. I did some traveling, I hung out with my family, and I had some nice relaxing days at home. But let's check in with Newshound. Let's see what he's been up to all summer. It's time for Petting Zoo. Hi, Newshound. Welcome back. Oh, you look ready to work. I like the tie. Very professional. So tell us, how was your summer? Oh, Okay, so the usual for you? You just laid around all day, huh? Well, do you have our first petting zoo story ready? What'd you find? Oh, you found a story about a bear in Florida that took a dip in someone's hot tub? To check out how wildlife officials helped this furry friend make it back home, click the petting zoo thumbnail at the bottom of this episode page. Thanks, Newshound. Okay, let's move on with the show. Think of the biggest painting you can imagine. How tall is it? How wide is it? Well, the biggest canvas in the world is right above us, the sky. Pilots at the Red Stewart Airfield in Waynesville, Ohio, use the sky to create awesome shapes and images using a technique called skywriting. We went to Red Stewart Airfield to see how they do it and what makes this aerodynamic feat art. Check it out.
Yeah, with flying there's a lot of physics involved, but that's not the part you notice. What you notice is just using the airplane's energy to draw shapes in the sky.
Emerson Stewart practically grew up on the airfield that's named after his grandfather.
My grandpa Red was the fellow that started the airport back in 1946. So we're teaching people to fly in the same kinds of airplanes that he taught people to fly in, even some of the same airplanes.
Skywriting has been around since the 1920s. This art is formed by a pilot releasing a special type of smoke in the air while they're performing tricks and flips to shape the stream.
When you're up there, climbing, descending, loops, rolls, managing the airplane's energy to do what you want it to do is a fun challenge, and every day is a little bit different.
One thing that stays the same is making sure the plane is safe and ready to take off. According to experts, every 50 to 100 flight hours, these planes are routinely checked to make sure things like propellers or landing gear are secured. But how does it feel to use an airplane as a paintbrush in the sky?
You just got to go up there and see it.
And even if you don't fly, watching the planes grace the sky from the ground is awe-inspiring. Every Labor Day weekend, people pull up to the Red Stewart Airfield for their annual air show and witness an art show.
Air show flying is the choreography. That's definitely an art form there in terms of entertainment value. Of course, there's all the science and turning that into something interesting that people want to see. Yeah, that's, I guess, suppose where the artistry comes in.
Robert Tika Lacerda is one of the air show pilots, and he's been flying since the 90s.
Started with a relatively simple routine, something that flowed well, and then over the years, as the skill set improves, as your personal capabilities improve, and the performance of the aircraft improves, you add or take away things that work or don't work.
Well, airplanes are convenient and make it nice to go point A to B, straight line, and a little faster than your car, but it's a lot more fun to go see what an airplane can really do.
That's Brent Hunter. He's also an air show pilot, and he loves to put on a great show.
Well, you want to start with something that grabs their attention, something loud and maybe dramatic. You want to finish with something that grabs their attention that they remember you with. Somewhere in the middle, try not to repeat anything.
And with a canvas as wide as the sky, the possibilities of what you can create up there are endless.
Here's a cool airplane, and here's some cool things you can do with airplanes. And we bring it down low so it feels visceral and you can see it, and it's more exciting. Doing air shows, you are trying to show what an airplane can do, because you're trying to inspire that kid sitting in the audience or somebody out there who's always wanted to fly.
Throughout the decade, Red Stewart Airfield continues to be a place where folks can marvel at what you can do with flight.
We're still doing the same thing we've always done with the same equipment we've always done it with. We started off with little light airplanes in the 40s, and we're still using the same sorts of little light airplanes. Part of what makes the place special is the people who work here are excited to make the place go and want to be here helping to make the place continue.
That is amazing artwork. Special thanks to our friend Hearns Laguerre Jr. from CET in Cincinnati for sharing that sketchbook with us. Students and teachers, if you liked that special segment, please let us know by filling out this survey. You can also find the link at the bottom of this episode page. What is that in the sky? It's a bird. It's a plane? It's Ohio native Superman. A new Superman movie was released over the summer, and Northeast Ohio residents might have thought Metropolis looked very familiar. The movie, directed by James Gunn, was filmed in Cleveland, but that was no coincidence. Superman's connection to Cleveland is rooted in the character's creation by writer Jerry Siegel and artist Joe Shuster. In 1933, Siegel and Shuster, who were high school students at the time, first conceptualized the idea of Superman, a superpowered hero sent from a dying planet to Earth. They eventually sold the character to DC Comics, and Superman made his debut in Action Comics #1 in 1938. The release of the new movie coincided with the reveal of the new Superman statue in downtown Cleveland. It is located outside of the Huntington Convention Center. It was created by sculptor D.L. Deming and features Superman, Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster, and Joanne Siegel, also known as the inspiration for Lois Lane. Let's learn how the city has embraced its connection to Superman over the years.
Superman is a symbol of hope, of what every man can be. Any man or woman can be super. Simple.
Superman is a Kryptonian. He was from the world of Krypton. The planet exploded. So Superman, as a baby, lands in Smallville. He is found by Martha and John Kent and raised as a normal Earthling. And then he started developing superpowers as he grew older. He started helping people with his superpowers. Back in the day, when I was starting all this, I would ask people all the time, do you know that Superman was created here? And it was like 50-50, which surprised me then. And these days, it's more likely you're gonna get a, oh yeah, I know that.
And did you know that Superman was created in Cleveland?
Oh yeah. Glenville, I believe.
Mm-hmm. It's common knowledge in the Glenville community that the best friends, Siegel and Shuster, grew up here, conceived of Superman here in the neighborhood, and we look for ways every day to promote and celebrate that.
So I'm the founding board secretary of the Siegel-Shuster Society. Joe Shuster is my grandfather's first cousin, and so our whole goal is to honor and celebrate the creation of Superman in Cleveland, Ohio by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster.
Jerry's family lived on a street that's called Kimberly Avenue. And the house is still there, and our nonprofit renovated it in 2009. And there's a fence in front of it with a big Superman S. Joe Shuster, his family moved to the Glenville neighborhood, just 9 blocks away from the Siegel family. We put up a commemorative fence around the Shuster property. The actual house is no longer there. The fence around it has got all the panels from Action Comics #1. Glenville High School had a newspaper called The Torch. And so Jerry had his own column in there. Joe Shuster got on the Torch because he was a very good illustrator. So Jerry and Joe came up with their own comic strip.
They would take a streetcar down here to this very library, and they would look out at the terminal tower, which is right outside this window. And at one point, they imagined a man leaping over the terminal tower.
People to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
This library is very important to the development of Superman because this is where they met and had their ideas. We may not have a museum in Cleveland, but this library pretty much has a lot of Superman in Cleveland information and exhibits.
This is actually Jerry Siegel's desk that was donated to the library by his daughter. One of the co-creators of Superman actually sat at this desk to write the Superman scripts for the comic book. And that is a copy of the very first appearance of what character was called Superman from Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. He was originally a supervillain with a hyphenated name, so it took a while to go through a bunch of different iterations of Superman and to come up with the final character that we know and love.
In the first issue published in 1938, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster outlined the elements of the superhero genre that would persist for the next 85 years. So on that first page, They capture the elements of Clark Kent's Superman's identity, his pro-social mission. He's determined to make the world better, his powers, and we see his costume, which shows us his identity. But it also shows the genius of Siegel and Shuster, that they were able to outline the entire genre of the superhero in one single page.
In the more recent movies of Superman, the opening credits, when the name created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster appear, people in the audience applaud.
Yeah, it's so cool.
In Cleveland.
It's so cool.
And because there's enough people in that audience that know, yes, these guys are from here.
Yeah.
The whole thing started with these two teenagers in Cleveland. And I think that's just a great story that people should know.
Special thanks to former NewsDepth intern Alexandra Samame for producing that story. Great job, Alex. We are very proud of you. And that brings us to our first Write to Us of the season. We want you to create your very own comic book strip. And after you do it, you can send it to us by using our inbox form online or email us at newsdepth@ideastream.org. And next episode, we're going to share some of them. Last season, we asked you to put on your author hats and write a story about NewsHound. Let's check out what you had by opening our inbox. Luke from Avon Heritage Elementary School in Avon is already in superhero mode. NewsHound, the driving force of all NewsDepth. We needed him. Always cooking up a story, always knowing the world of pets. A NewsDepth without him would not be a NewsDepth. We all hope to get our stories, and NewsHound never disappoints. Luke also added that he really enjoyed this prompt because he is a writer. Great job, Luke. Aria from Kensington Intermediate School in Rocky River wrote about NewsHound's encounter with a monster. Once upon a time, NewsHound was chilling at the lake, tanning in the sun, and drinking his pina colada. Suddenly, he saw bubbles in the lake. He was curious, what could it be? He walked slowly over to see what it was. Then, something popped out of the water. It was the monster of Lake Erie, Bessie! Aria, do you think NewsHound would be Bessie's enemy or friend? Haley, Zara, Olive, and Caroline from St. Ursula Villa in Cincinnati teamed up to write this amazing handmade book called The Life of NewsHound. The story follows a dog named Scout, who got lost while his owner, Gerald, was sleeping. As he and his new cat friend explored, a woman named Linda took them home. She named the cat Newscat and Scout NewsHound. They worked with Gabriel on NewsDepth. Eventually, Gerald was reunited with Scout, but let him continue to work for NewsDepth. What a great origin story. Amazing job. Love this book. Everett from Melridge Elementary in Painesville wrote a story about NewsHound and his brother Lalo. Once there was a dog named NewsHound, and there was a guy named Gabe. He was all lonely, so he bought a dog, NewsHound. They had a blast until Gabe got a girlfriend, and then NewsHound was now lonely, and then he ran away to find a brother, and he found a lizard, and they were best friends ever. Great story, Everett. And Clara from Valley Forge Elementary in Dayton wrote a story titled NewsHound and the Magnificent Sheep Chase. NewsHound was everyone's hero dog. He was just like Superman's dog, but he doesn't fly. One day, NewsHound was walking down the streets with his best man pal, Gabriel Kramer. While they were walking, they found a herd of sheep. He had to do something. After 10 minutes of running, NewsHound had chased the sheep all the way to the farm base, with Gabriel panting tirelessly after all that running. Those are fantastic stories. I love them all so much. And I love that some of you wrote fiction stories and others wrote nonfiction, like Clara, who knows how much I'd struggle chasing around NewsHound. Well, here's another nonfiction story. At NewsDepth headquarters, one of our favorite things is hearing about all of the wonderful things you are doing in your schools and communities as we plan A+ awards. Every now and then, the past winners reach out to us and give us updates on what they've been up to. This week's A+ award winners you may remember from last season, the Garden Club at Berea Middle Park Middle School. The Garden Club not only expanded their garden from last year, they also built an entirely new outdoor learning space on their school's campus and began growing vegetables using aeroponic technology. Aeroponics is a technique of growing plants where the roots hang suspended in the air while a nutrient solution mist is sprayed on them. That is pretty cool. Mr. Pearl, the club's advisor, invited us to show us around. We were really impressed with how much the garden expanded. The students placed an emphasis on planting native species that would attract monarch butterflies and other pollinators. A native species is a plant or animal that originated and developed in a specific ecosystem without the aid of humans, and pollinators are usually insects that move pollen from plant to plant to allow for fertilization. That's not all. The students also cleared out an old overgrown courtyard and built chairs and benches so the space can be used as a classroom for small groups. Makes me wish I was still in middle school. Here's a big congratulations to the Berea Mid-Park Middle School Garden Club for winning this week's A+ award. We're definitely going to check back in, and we hope to enjoy some fresh veggies. If you would like to nominate a student or group of students for our A+ award, you can fill out our form online or send us an email to newsdepth@ideastream.org. And that's a wrap for our very first episode of the season, but you can keep the conversation going, and there are plenty of ways for you to stay in touch with us. You can write to us. We're at 1375 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio. Our zip code here is 44115. You can email us at newsdepth@ideastream.org. Plus, you can catch all of our special segments on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you're old enough so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. Thank you for joining us. I'm Gabriel Kramer. We'll see you next week.
NewsDepth is made possible by a grant from the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation.